You should be able to see my screen. Somebody let me know if you can't, okay? Okay, so what are we doing this week? This week you have two main assignments. Now that we have finished your CAPSIM simulation practice rounds, there is a team assignment related to that we're going to talk about in just a minute. But the other thing is we're continuing on this week with that financial case analysis, a financial spreadsheet analysis. And there is a quiz related to the Walmart financial case that we started last week. So if you go to week 7, when I am in video recording mode, my mouse goes really slow. It drives me nuts. So this is week 7. We're in week 7 now, and we're starting a chapter on setting objectives using the SMART method, which is making sure this is the third step in the strategic planning process. And SMART is an acronym that stands for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and with a set timetable. And you need the timetable to motivate everyone to do what's necessary to get the goal accomplished on time are you there? Somebody just said something? Y'all feel free to interrupt me if I'm saying something that leads to a question, and you're not being rude. That's perfectly fine if you interrupt me. So look over these PowerPoints, and there is a video that goes along with that. Let me make sure that it's working. Yes, it is working. So watch, it's a 17-minute video. This is what I would normally cover in class, okay? And watch the video before. I'll do all of this before you start on the weekly quiz. And along with that, there is another video explaining the Walmart financial case. This is the same document that we started last week. If you weren't here last Wednesday when we started on it, you can download this and print it out. Just print it out and complete this financial spreadsheet before you do the weekly quiz, because there are questions directly related to this spreadsheet. So for example, it might ask you, what is Walmart's gross profit margin for 2010? And well, you can take this directly off the sheet. If you weren't in class last Wednesday, if you missed out on that, then you can simply watch. There is a video that goes over this financial spreadsheet analysis. It is a 26-minute video, but I go step by step how to complete that. And I'm just going to double check. Week 6 learning module. Yes. So there it is. So do watch that video and have that financial case sheet in front of you as you watch the video. Do all of that before you take this Walmart case quiz. And that's for this week. In addition to that, we do have a team assignment, and this team assignment is related to the practice rounds that you just completed. It's a private discussion board. And let me stop here for just a minute and ask everyone, can you see, number one, can you see this discussion board? And also, if you can see the discussion board, can you see the private discussion board that is just for your own team? Anybody can answer that. You should be able to see this discussion board. And when you start a new thread here, it should be that you and your teammates are the only ones that can see your response. You should have one post per team, and only I and you and your teammates can see your response, because what I'm asking you to do is answer the questions I have here. And for this discussion board, it is, I want you to tell me as a team, not one answer per person on your team, but one post per team, what worked and what you felt like didn't work. What are some of the things you experimented with in the simulation practice rounds that you found didn't work. You tried it and it just didn't work. Maybe it is, for example, you tried introducing more than one product and that didn't work. Or maybe you tried introducing a product, a high-tech product with a very small production line, and that didn't work. You realized you needed a larger production line. Or, tell me what you tried and didn't work. And then I want you to say, oh, yes, Hammond, we have a hand. Yes, yeah.
I don't see the team discussion chat.
Or the discussion board, you mean? Does anybody
Right.
see it?
Show me again where it is.
Okay, so you should be able to see it if you go to, let me look on my end and see what put up the
No, it's
student
not
view.
there.
It's not there. Okay, so I'm going student view. Hold on. Right. And discussions. Let me figure out why it's not there. Okay. You're right. It's not showing up. Okay. So let me figure out why. I'll do that as soon as we sign off of this online meeting. And someone tell me if you still can't see it after that. I'll do that immediately. I must have one of the settings wrong on it. But just so that you know, when I get that figured out what I did wrong, I'm going to you'll be able to see, and again, I'm still in student view, so I can't see it either. Let me go back. Hold on. You'll be able to see the discussion board assignment. It should show up. Let's see, it's not showing up now. Oh, here it is. It should show up on your course calendar as well. Is it not showing up on your course calendar? Is it showing up on your course? For March, the due date's March 1.
I see an online class meeting, the Walmart case, but there's no discussion.
There's no discussion. Okay, so that confirms that no one. Okay, but this is what it is going to say. It's going to say one post per team, not one per person on your team, one post per team. Everybody get together and you kind of discuss what worked when you did your simulation practice rounds, what didn't work. And then you're going to discuss what you believe is going to be your team's strategy. Now, why are we doing this? Because I want your team to sort of have a plan for what you're going to do once you start the team competition, which the team competition won't officially start until next week. But I want your team to have a plan for that. And so you'll notice under the week 7 module, I put several different sample competitive strategies that you could choose as a team. Now, this is not all inclusive. It's not an exhaustive list. It's just a sample of different. There are so many variations on this that you can use. These are very basic. So, for example, when you look at broad low cost, it says, kind of gives you an idea, describes what it is, what your vision might do. And you don't have to go into this much detail, by the way, on your team discussion board posts. I just want to know, basically, you don't have to tell me specifically, for example, what you're going to do in round 1 and then round 2 and all of that. But this is giving you an example of what would be a low-cost strategy, what you could do if you were offering a low-cost strategy, what all it would involve, right? And it's going into a lot of detail, which I thought would be helpful to everyone. And this handout was developed by the CAPSIM simulation programmers. So you get an idea of what would be a broad low-cost leader strategy. That might be one that you choose. Then you get an idea of what is a broad differentiation strategy, what you're trying to accomplish, your vision statement, your general R&D strategy, and so on and so forth. And they give you examples of what you might do in round 1 and round 2. So go through these sample competitive strategies so that your team can discuss, well, this one looks really interesting to me, and I think we can do it, maybe because you have someone on your team who's a marketing person who you feel like that might be your strengths. But if you have quant people on your team and they feel like they can read the income statement, and they can keep costs down, and you can invest in things that will lower your costs, such as automation, such as TQM efforts. If you feel like that's going to be your strength, then a broad low cost or a focused low cost strategy might be best for your team. So kind of read through these to get an idea. You might decide, well, I don't want to do any of these four. I want to do a blend, sort of like a best value strategy. That's fine. Just describe to me on your team's private discussion board post what you think your team would like to do. And, as we go along in the team competition, if your team decides to tweak its strategy, sort of change the strategy along the way because you notice your competitors are doing something that you didn't expect. So maybe they're copying you or doing something you didn't expect. And the goal is to try to be unique. As we've always said, we want to be unique. We don't want to be the same as everyone else. We want to be unique in a valuable way. So you might have to tweak your strategy in response to what's going on with your competition. That, of course, that's always going to be the case. So choose what you believe to be would be your team's strength, what your team can do well, and which one of these strategies do you think would work, and kind of give me an idea of how you would implement the strategy. You don't have to go, again, you don't have to go into this much detail. This is a lot of detail. No, just tell me broadly how you would implement it. You might say, I'm going to introduce one product every other round, and I'm going to make sure the product goes in the low tech, primarily in the low tech segment. Or if you're doing broad differentiation, you might say, I'm going to introduce the product in the high tech segment, and I'm going to let it drift, and maybe I'll let it drift into the intersection, and I'll have a low tech, an intersection, and a high tech product. So kind of give me an idea of how you would implement the strategy. But I do want to know which one of these, we talked about 5 generic strategies that you could choose from, and they're broad, low cost, focused, low cost, broad differentiation, focused differentiation. And anybody remember what the last one was? Anybody at all remember what the last one was? Anyone can try this one. And broad low cost, focused low cost, broad differentiation, focused differentiation. What's the 5th one that I haven't named yet, guys? The one that's right in the middle, that's a blend. What do we call that again? I know someone knows. Anyone want to try? The first word is best. What's the second word? Anyone? The chat, somebody say it in the chat.
Is it cost?
Best cost or best value. That's exactly right. Thank you. Who said that? Who said that?
Okay, that was me.
That was,
Joshua.
and I've got, oh, Joshua. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
I was hoping somebody would be brave enough to speak up. Okay. So you have 5 different generic strategies. They've given you an idea of 4 of those 5. This is again coming from the CAPSIM programmers. So these are just samples. Again, it's not an exhaustive list. There are combinations or variations on these samples that your team could decide to do. Just let me know what you're planning on doing. I want to know that you do have a plan before we start the team competition. And again, we will start that next week, but I need everyone on your team to be finished with all 4 rounds before they can be added to your team. So if you have one person on your team that's still struggling, you can reach out to that person. But again, if you run into a brick wall, and if you have watched the videos that I have posted beginning in week 3 and you still need my help, you can email me and we'll set aside a time to meet one-on-one, because we do need to get that finished this week, very latest. Okay, so let's just go out to the CAPSIM simulation. And a couple things I want to show you. I'm going to go into, not this class, I'm going to go into my online class, okay, and show you some things. And one is, and just want to briefly talk about this, but we're not going to go into a lot of detail because we spent a lot of time already in class. But I sometimes get this question, what if, look at this is not obviously not going to be at the 50th percentile, but this student has finished all 4 rounds. So technically, you finished all 4 rounds. Yes, you can be added to a team, but this practice round exercise counts for 10% of your course grade. So obviously, having a cumulative balanced scorecard score of 143 is not going to get you at the 50th percentile, not close. So you could get partial credit. In this case, the partial credit would be about a 50, because what we're looking for in most cases is a balanced scorecard score of at least 300, but generally it requires 325 to ensure you have the 50th percentile, not just at the very end cumulatively, but in every round. And what we're hoping for is that it's trending up in every round, not down, that we're trending up in every round. Okay, so if it's going down instead of up, then you had a problem. In this, for example, for this student, the problem happened in round 2. So that, we want to raise your score so that you could make a 100 on this, you'd have to go all the way back to round 2. Now, let's say you wanted to try that, but you get busy in your other classes or at work with your other responsibilities and you can't finish all 4 rounds. Well, what I would suggest is that you screenshot, in this case, here's a screenshot of this student's balanced scorecard. And I can see that, that's not the 50th percentile, the 4th round, not cumulatively or overall, not cumulatively or in specifically the round 4. But I would screenshot, as a student, I would screenshot my balanced scorecard details, all of this, just screenshot it, every computer is different. I have an Apple here, but I can easily screenshot that and save it to my computer, right? And so I can just click on this and save it to my computer, save it to my photos, or save it to my desktop. Why am I doing that? Well, I'm doing that because let's say I do get busy and I have other projects and I'm not able to redo all 4 rounds again. When I look at this to assign your grade, I'm going to look at what you've completed as of the day I assign your grades, which will be the end of this week. And if you only have 2 rounds out there, you won't, not only will you not be moved into a team, this particular student will not be moved into a team. And I would inform the student, well, you've got until this date to finish, or you won't be able to complete the course, because that's how important it is that you finish the practice rounds. You really can't complete this team simulation competition, and you can't complete the Comp XM. You've got to complete all 4 rounds to stay on track to finish the course this semester. But let's say you finished just 2 of the 4 rounds. In that case, I would email the student and say, you haven't completed all 4 rounds, so you can't be put on a team. And you have until tonight or tomorrow morning to get it done in order to compete in the team competition and complete the course. Well, the student might say, well, I finished all 4 rounds, but I went back to try to improve my score and I wasn't able to do it. Then my response would be, I can't know that. I don't have any, if you get to round 4 and if you replay all the way back to round 2, then you've lost everything that you've done except for what is in round 2. All right. And so there's no way of me getting that back. I've tried in the past calling the CAPSIM help to see if they could pull it off of their cloud or database, and they can't. Once you replay around, you've erased what you've done in the higher rounds. So make sure that if you're replaying all 4 rounds, that you have enough time to redo them and finish them. But also, let's say you replayed all 4 rounds and you're ending number is even lower. It's not better, it's worse. Well, then send me a copy of the screenshot that you initially had, and I'll give you the grade for the highest attempt on that. You know, so I do want you to continue to practice if you want to, but I don't want you to run out of time such that, you know, your grade goes down if you're practicing like that. But so just save a screenshot of your balance scorecard, because otherwise I'll have no evidence or no way of knowing what your highest balance scorecard score was. Does that make sense, guys? Okay, any other questions? That's about all I had, unless you have questions. Any other questions, guys, for what's going on this week? Now, what I want to do on Wednesday is I would like to reserve Wednesday for those people who do have questions or who need help with the CAPSIM simulation, because we really do have to get that done. So Wednesday's online class will be optional, and you can use that time to meet in your team to do the team assignment the team discussion board assignment that we have this week. You can use that time because we should all have that time set aside for this class, right? So you can use that time to meet with your team, or to, you know, work on the quiz assignment, the individual assignment, that the quiz that we have this week. So either one, this coming up Wednesday. But if you are running into problems and you do need help finishing up the practice rounds, then let's plan on meeting online. You should be able to find the online meeting link on the you should be able to see it. Let me pull it up here. You should be able to see it. Let me make sure I did it on the calendar. So yeah, so here it is, the online class meeting for Wednesday. And again, that one will be optional. I'm not taking roll on that one. That's for people who need help, especially with the simulation to finish up all 4 practice rounds. Any questions before we go, guys? Okay, so I see we have 25 people here. I automatically get attendance, as you probably know, for these online meetings. So I know who was here. I don't need to actually call out your name, so I have a record of it. But on Wednesday, we will meet again for those who have questions. Again, I'm going to post this recording on the course calendar. If you want to go back and listen, if you joined us late, you want to go back and listen to what we covered today, then you can watch the video. I'll post it on the course calendar. And if you have any questions about the simulation, and if you just can't figure it out, again, we want to get that done, your 4 practice rounds done this week. Just email me and we'll try to find a mutually convenient time to meet to get it done. But otherwise, I will meet with those of you who are struggling in any way or just have questions about what we're doing this week. I'll meet with you on Wednesday online. And that's an optional meeting, the Wednesday class. So we can spend that time working on our team assignment, or if you've already gotten that completed, any other individual assignment that you might have. Any questions before we leave? Okay, I am going to stop recording. All right, so the recording